Did y'all want me to stay in here while I did my stream, or I was asking if y'all want me to stay, or do you want me all to like get out the VC? It is muted. So I am talking to Voiceless Mongoose. One wants to be my friend on Discord, but I don't know who the fuck they are. Yes. Wait, what? I was answering Mongoose, saying the voices that only exist in your head. You can go to sleep, Mongoose. Oh, hi, Crow. Crow says I took your sleep. There you go. Blank Crow, Mongoose. Blank Crow. Also, Crow, this is not streaming for you. Where's the Crow stream? Don't know what to play. Play something. Pick a random game. Crow was canceled on Twitter for calling someone bald. I don't wanna like interrupt your guys' calm. Keep that. Probably begins on Twitter. Twitter is evil. I have the ability to mute now. Also, oh, that's adorable. Let's go. My softest? Sure, I can try. So we left off halfway through because Kenzie wouldn't leave. So we're like halfway through this. It was still as Mr. Holden digested that what Kira said, stared down at his empty head held out in front of him. When he looked at Cove again, tiny tears glimmered in the corner of his eyes. He got up and crossed the room to his son. Cove didn't move or look away as he approached. Kenzie is my niece. Mr. Holden set his hands on Cove's shoulder. The touch firm, he furrowed his brows. But you and I are going to talk about every single thought that ever pops into our heads for the rest of your life. He shook Cove forward and back a bit. Tears slipped down Cove's cheeks, but he was smiling.
What?
No, I don't want that. Mr. Hood began to smile too. It trembled at the corners, but it was genuine. I should pay attention. Hold on. What are you confused about? I'm afraid it's the only way. Kira chuckled, even as she blinked away her own tears. Mr. Holm turned towards her. You better not be thinking get away from this, Kira. The same is gonna apply to you. You can't. I'm good. You can't. He let go of Cove with white hair while he placed his other arm around Cove's shoulder. Then he faced Kira. Thank you. It was a sneeze. Like that was a sneeze. Ugh. Even sneeze like I do not. Crow says I sneeze like a cat. I was muted in Discord because I was talking about something and I forgot to unmute and I sneezed. Chicken. My cat sneezes nothing like Beam. One of mine does. You don't have a cat. Wait, which one? Hands down, yes. Which one, Crow? Which one? Is it Mira? Or I guessed it right. It was Mira. Let's go. Hi, baby. Hold on. Oop. There you go. What's up?
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, yes, I can. He continued to talk as he walked in her direction, bringing Cove along with him. Aww. Then, father and son were standing in front of her. Mr. Holden put his other arm around her. Now she had both of them in his arms. Night, Mongoose. If you think the ideas that I actually go with are bad, you two are going to be amazed by the thoughts I decide against all on my own. Kira jokingly cringed at the concept. Cove smiled tearfully up at his parents. Thanks, Dad.
I'm so glad.
Thank you, son. But hey, you know what I'm thinking now? Cove, wiping his face with the back of his hand, shook his head. God, no, you're an incomprehensible maniac. Mr. Holden laughed, not disputing her words. You are a good boy, Mongoose. Peaches, stop. I'm thinking we should eat that dinner I painstakingly made. It's salvageable, just gotta heat it back up. Kara sighed exaggerated relief.
Can do.
That we can manage, right? Cove? Great, we're making progress already.
Well.
No, I don't even know how I'm gonna start making this up to Beanie. Carrying that cigarette for all this time must have been quite the burden to bear. $20 is not nearly enough for all the hullabaloo. Not mad about anything. It's a hard time for your family. Either way, I or we will work on it. Okay. Go back his head and spoke towards you. There's a tiny smile on his face. Do you want to stay for dinner still? I'd love to. Mr. Horn finally let go of his family. Kara patted him on the back with a content sigh. You're very good boys. I'm so lucky. Go shyly rubbed his arms, while Mr. Horn nervously rubbed his neck. Neither could make eye contact out of bashfulness. In that moment, they really did seem like father and son. Phil's family was nice, you thought to yourself. You were glad that you got to come over. Woohoo! We did it! We did it! We finished it. Well, this is 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Wait. That's 10. 11, 12, 14, 15. Crow, you're in chat, right? You want to choose the next one we do? Oh god, my nose. That feels weird. No, I'm not. Not here. Oh. Lemonade? Well, you could have done a number. There's like a lot of them. I like how that wasn't even lemonade that you said, and I still knew what it was. Well, yeah, because there's like 2 screens I gotta show. Yeah. It's 1 through... The fuck did you knock over, Peaches? My meds. She knocked over my meds. Well, I didn't even finish it. There's 1 through 15. There's like 5 on each thing. We can do lemonade. Uh, 13 is this one that's already been done. What did you just do? Bad Peaches! Lame. It's not my fault, I already did it. It was afternoon on a sleepy summer day. Nothing urgent needed to be done, so... Stop walking on my keyboard! Stop knocking shit off the desk! Alrighty. Let's try this again. Nothing urgent needed to be done. No real plans have been made. You and your company were simply hanging out around the local beach, free as a breeze. She would do it. And you're not having my cat, Crow. I don't know how many times I need to say no to you, Crow. Mm-hmm. You can't have peaches. Yeah. Just want the kitty for a bit, like 2 years. Why 2 years? And that is not a short time. 2 years is not a short time. I think I just freaked Peaches out. It was one of those good days where the world was your own and you had 2 of your close friends there to enjoy it with. Derek was on your left and Cove was at your right. 3 pairs of footprints showed along the soft white sand behind you. Derek had only been dropped off minutes ago. Instead of going inside your house or Cove's, you'd simply started to walk. It was definitely hot out. Southern California tended to get that way, but it wasn't so bad that you had to hide away from the beating rays of the sun. Those hands were in his pockets. He spoke out while facing away from you. Instead, he lazily watched the unchanging horizon.
So...
What do you guys want to do? You and Derek took a on matching squints. Normally, there'd be endless answers to that question, but the lackadaisical? Is that what that is? Lackadaisical? Is that the word? Peaches! Please, stop. You're stepping on the keyboard. You need to stop it. No. You can headbutt my hand as much as you want. No. She finally stepped over it. No. No.
Lackadaisical.
Lackadaisical. I was right. Okay. Really weird, but okay. You leave my cat alone, Crow. She's staying here. The lackadaisical mood made it feel like trying to solve math problems in a dream. But nothing. All those pleases ain't going to get you shit. Yeah, nothing. Your thoughts were moving as slowly as the tide that inched towards the shore bit by bit. Finally, the resident problem solver offered a possibility with a yawn and a tall stretch of his arms over his head.
Well,
Want to walk to the grocery store? What? Cove twisted his face to the opposite side and stared at Derek. A stuttering laugh expressed his disbelief. Why would we go grocery shopping? With a shrug, Derek scratched his cheek and explained. Well, it's probably different here, but where I live, the closest place to get stuff isn't a convenience store or a mall or anything. It's a grocery store. Sometimes me and my bros will take a trip down there and see what we can find. That sounds nice. Wouldn't you find groceries, Egypt? I'll try if you want. You started him with saying questioning Lucas Cove. You're not along with the explanation. You got some interesting hobbies, Derek, he teased. That sounds neat. I'll try if you want to. Derek stuck a thumbs up in front of his chest, open and excited. Phil folded his arms across his body and sure and closed off.
This is gonna be great.
It's really not like normal errands. You can get anything you want. There are a lot of things at the store you never even think about when you're there with your parents and a list of stuff for the house. Cope's firmly heavy, drooping lids lifted high, showing his bright blue eyes. He glanced between you and Derek for final confirmation that you were seriously doing this today. Yes. We are. Oh dear God. Derek in complete confidence in his stance. It could be interesting. The corners of your neighbor's mouth perked up as well.
Sure.
Okay, let's go grocery shopping. Cool. It was another successful bit of improvising on Derek's part. He put his hands on his hips eagerly.
Let's go.
I'm pretty sure I know where your store is, but the two of you should probably lead the way. Leave it to us. Cove puffed his chest out with pride. He was a true local to the town after being there for so many years. And your walk continued now with an actual destination in mind. You retraced the remnants of your steps in the sand, heading back to the neighborhood, then up the hill and out of the residential area. When you turned onto Main Street, the grocery store was already invisible. Visible, not invisible, in the distance. It also wasn't going anywhere, so you enjoyed the stroll together. You arrived when you arrived. Derek continued to sell the concept of his plan by recounting stories of him and his brother's post-adventures in the grocery land.
But
So we got super lucky because the good discount rack had a whole cherry pie for way off. Me, Jorge, and Nico pulled our pocket change to get it, and then we had an entire pie just like that. Sat outside on a bench near the store and ate it from the pan. It was kind of 6 slices, so I only let the kids have 1 piece each. It was already a lot of sugar. I didn't want to make them food sick. Trying to come up with how we were going to explain half a pie to Mom. But Nico had his own idea. He took a slice he wasn't allowed to eat and instead threw it at Jorge. Cole's mouth gaped open at the audacity. Derek laughed out loud at the memory and the response it got in the present. He'd been watching way too many cartoons with food fights and pies to the face, I guess. He'd believe that there was one thing Nicholas loved, it was Derek. And if there was another, it was cars. And if there was a third, it was copying things he'd seen others do. Congrats on second.
obviously,
Aww. Well, Blueberry has blue eyes, at least. Those are blue, right? Or are they green? Excuse me while I just they're blue. I was correct. They're blue. They're blue, aqua, whatever you want to call it, but still blue. It's still blue. Ugh. Stop it. So, I have a face mask on. I have a very nice face mask on, technically. And I am the peel off. And so I'm slowly pulling it off. Oh my god. Corner crow. Peaches is playing with the face mask that I take off my face. She's batting it around. Crow corner. Because that is my child. What is that you hit, Peaches?
Obviously.
I was talking about the blue all over the place bit. Hmm.
Obviously.
Barry didn't let this slide, and he took the fifth piece of the pie and squashed it right into Nicholas's head. His hair was covered in dark cherry goo. It was a mess, but if you can't beat him, join him. I jumped the last of the pie on myself. Why? Stopped them from fighting over it, and they would have ended up feeling bad they got missing. I didn't. Nicholas didn't think very far ahead. Oh, what did you do next?
Honestly.
We found a water fountain around the back of the grocery store and tried to scrape off as much pie as possible. Then we went home. Mom still figured out what happened. We all had to take a real bath, but that was a good time. Fun smile settled on Derek's face. He glanced up to the sky while getting lost in an entirely private moment of reminiscing. Clove was still reflecting on the story with amusement. Can I help you? You're just staring. Yes? Is it because of this? Is it because of the face mask? That's adorable. I hope we'll find a whole pie. See, grocery stores are exciting. You get out at Derek's storytelling. You shake your head how ridiculous that was. That's adorable. Thanks. Phil ruffled a hand through his hair, possibly considering how it might felt to have entire pie crushed into his locks. He smirked. Pie throwing fight is way more memorable than I would have guessed. The most unexpected thing that happened to me when out shopping was the time I got a free balloon and accidentally popped it. Pretty much immediately.
Dude.
Oh, shoot. It was Derek's turn to chuckle in nervous disbelief. He grinned, shook, just mentioned. It's okay. Rest in peace, Dolphin Balloon. Rest in pieces, Dolphin Balloon. That was so terrible. That was so sad, but also really funny. I'm sorry that's how our first shopping trip ended, Cove. Smiled quietly over the memory. Rest in pieces, Dolphin Balloon. Yeah, rest in peace. The conversation stayed on the topic of star-related things. Derek had plenty more experiences to share. The chat didn't last much longer, though. Soon you crossed the street and arrived at Sunset Bird's local mom-and-pop grocery store. You and your two co-shoppers headed right through the automatic doors. A shiver went down your spine when you stepped out of the afternoon heat and into the powerful air-conditioned store. Shiny, orderly aisles stretched out in front of you. Each one was tightly packed with a plethora of bright packaged merchandise. To some people, the rows and rows of items might have been a slog to go through, but seen through Derek's eyes, it was a scavenger hunt with endless opportunities. Though it was Cove who spoke first. Do we need a card?
Nope.
Probably not. Derek carefully waved that off, eyes still fixated ahead on the altar of the consumerism ahead. We're here for Quality, not quantity. Besides, do we even have enough money to buy some things? Oh, wait. Cove suddenly burrowed his hand into his pocket once again. He tucked them in deep, but didn't find what he'd gone in search of. I don't have my wallet. It's at home. Me neither. I thought we'd just been in the neighborhood all day.
I
Well,
figured.
It's cool. I figured. Jack's lack of reaction couldn't smooth over Cove's obvious response to the situation. His wavy eyebrows pulled down together. We could have stopped by to get it before we left. Now this was my idea, so it's my treat. I've got like $8 and some change. That's enough for all of us to spend around a few dollars or put it together for one thing. That's gonna be plenty. Thanks, sir. Now $10 between us. Wow, it's like we're kids again. I promise I'll pay you back. Yeah, that'd be more than enough for this. Smile gratefully. Now $10 between us. Wow, it's like we're kids again. That's what's great about it. Having limited funds is the best part. We gotta get creative. Cove's hands finally deserted his pockets, and one came up to rub his forearm
All
and
right.
said, "All right, thanks. Let's get something good." Derek took a step forward as he cheered. "All right, here we go." You went down the nearest aisle, swiveling your head to check both sides of the path as you swung your current empty off-goods arm through the air. The first stop of the market expedition was the discount rack in the back. You didn't have the same luck as Derek and his little brothers. It was the only place in the store that was barren. One shelf had several dented cartons of chicken stock. Stuff in the bottom of the rack was a bag of plain rolls. The sight was pretty pathetic. Too bad. He shrugged like it was nothing, but his words told a different story. It would have been easy if there was a pie here, or a cake, or one of those pans with a bunch of cinnamon rolls. Wistfully, Cove continued to mumble a list of miscellaneous pastries that you might have potentially been able to get if the fates had a line. Good, this keeps things interesting when you still get stuck. Such a good deal. Sorry, Cove, I was hoping for a cake this time too. You shook your head with a smile. This keeps things interesting.
Definitely.
Definitely. There's still plenty of possibilities. And if push comes to shove, we could afford a smaller treat, like getting 3 boxes with 1 slice of cake each. We wouldn't eat more than that anyway. Maybe you would eat just one. Cove couldn't even have the pie himself. Yeah, speak for yourself, Derek. 1 slice wouldn't cut it. You don't need that much dessert, Cove. You shrugged, amused. Cove couldn't even have the
Whoa.
pie himself. Wow, alright. It's a good thing we didn't find one then. Hey. You pushed past the Artie, pilfered, treasure chest, and continued to chat. You passed cereals, pastas, sauces, and an aisle full of chips bags and soda packs and more. The dry goods and canned foods now behind you, you arrived at the produce section. The arrangement of goods was much more open than the narrow rows of shelves. The three of you could spread out more in between pallets and baskets of fresh fruits and vegetables. Peaches is falling asleep. Could you lay in your bed? Lay in your bed. Not on my desk. You have a bed for this reason. You have a bed for this reason. You have a bed for this reason. She's so adorable. Hold on. I need to take a picture. Yes. Derek grabbed an avocado to check its ripeness. Cove stared at the watermelons, appreciating the fruit. But his blank face made it obvious he had no idea how to tell if they were good quality or not. Then a recognizable crackling sound fluttered to life. Both the boys with you lifted their heads. Without conversing, the two rushed over to the back, where the leafy greens were piled up. A light spray of mist burst from the sprinklers, raining down gently on the produce. Cove and Derek stuck their heads into the damp air while snickering. Derek rubbed his hands together to pretend he was washing them. Cove lifted his hands up to be as close to the surface of the water as possible. You also had your hand in the veggie mist. You thought the two of them were so silly. That was weird. You stuck your face into the mist. You also had your hand in the veggie mist. Who doesn't at least do that? Tell me. You made your own dash across the floor to enjoy the tiny dusting of water drops on your fingers. The impromptu public shower ended shortly, and it was back to the center of the space for you. Knowing groins were shared around as you grouped, there was a comfort in realizing someone else had the same silly habit as you. Ow. Bro, do you want the peck of peaches I just took? The distraction over and the mango unresolved, Cove helplessly glanced around the store. He was totally stumped. There's a lot of things I like, but I don't have to get any of it now. How do we pick? There was a whine in his tone, and he crossed his arms out of frustration. Derek kept it light, same as he would been when dealing with his much younger siblings. Dude, you need more imagination. Turn lemons into lemonade.
I've got a plan.
Actually, wait, yeah, that's what we should do. We can get some lemons and make our own lemonade. The concept struck Cove just as much as Derek. Oh, that would be cool. Oh, wowza. I was already sleepy. I think so too. Now that's an idea. If that's what you want, give it on. I think so too. Great. Derek marched with purpose to a box that was heavy with mesh bags of the desired yellow citrus. He'd have to finger to his chin, then bounce from one foot to the other. Derek was only a lemon connoisseur who scrutinized the offerings with utmost focus. He selected 2 bags, one in each hand. The bottom of each pack was set against his upturned palms. Derek juggled the lemons to try to get a sense of their weight. Finally, the bag on the right was deemed superior, and Derek carefully laid the unwanted bundle back onto the stack. Then he lifted the winner high, showing it off to Cove and you. I got my thing. It's only $3. Your turn. This time, Cove didn't look aimlessly at what was in front of him. He shut his eyes and put all his mind's power into conjuring up an answer. Soon he stole a quick glance at Derek's lemons through squinted eyes, and then he took his turn.
Come on. Let's go.
Let's do it. He made another trip across the length of the store, this time at a much brisker pace. Cove had a target in sight, even if he couldn't see it yet. He blew past all the food aisles, the pet shelves, and the cleaning supplies. He only stopped when he made it to the one random aisle in the store with cheap plastic kids' toys. This is it. His words were eager and certain. There was a childish excitement to Cove that was fitting for the location. He reached a hand into the wall with yo-yos and bubble blowers. His fingers landed on a baggie of water balloons. Crow, did you answer me? Drinking lemonade is gonna get me. If you want the picture of Peaches. Drinking lemonade is gonna make me want to have fun outside too. We can use this for that.
Yeah.
Perfect plan, Cove. Good work. I knew you could do it. It's great. You found something. I'm amazed you didn't get food. Alright, you grinned at the two. Good work. Picture has been sent. Thanks. For all of his previous indecisions, the sweetness of victory was all the more worth it for Cove. His lecture was even cheaper than Derek's. $2 and a bit of change. All that was left of Derek's money was $3 and your choice of prize. Derek patiently cradled his bag of lemons while Cove watched you expectantly, excited to see what the final piece of the puzzle would be. You reflected on the theme that was forming, your own preferences and the shareability of different goods. In the end, you opened your mouth and said, "Chips snack on? Candy to eat with the lemonade? I want those little umbrellas to put in the drinks. We could get the discount rolls for real. I like one of those bubble blowers. I'll take a yo-yo. I'm gonna get gum. I don't want anything. How about the umbrellas to put in the drinks? Or should we get actual, chips to snack on? Let's do the little umbrellas. Yeah. Excellent, Beanie. You got to lead the way out of the toy aisle and back into the thick of the grocery store traffic. You wandered around the aisles until you found the right spot. It took another minute to pick out the best little umbrellas, and then you were done. With items in hand, you, Derek, and Cove went through the checkout line. Derek dug out his pocket change and paid for your odd arrangement of items. None of you bothered to get a bag. Derek's was already in one, and you and Cove could easily carry your things on your own. After a successful grocery trip, you returned to the great outdoors to walk back to the neighborhood. This kind of adding reminded you that it was about what you were doing. What counted was who you were doing it with. Outside, you gathered in front of the crosswalk and waited for a chance to get back on the main sidewalk. While standing around, it was unanimously decided that you'd bring your goods to Cove's house and make the lemonade there. Your mom had the risk of Elizabeth saying she wanted a pre-dinner snack. She wouldn't appreciate having a lemonade making operation in the way. Mom, baby is so adorable. There was no worry of that in the Holden condo. Phil's mom and dad were out, and even if they weren't, they were his parents, not his bossy big sibling. They wouldn't even dream of throwing the 3B out of the kitchen to use it instead. Derek was thinking along similar lines based on what he said next. Honestly, Mom, can't wrap my head around what it's like to not have any siblings hanging around the house at all. I don't mean that you're weird for that. Just, it's gotta be so different.
Really?
Is it? I have my dad here. My mom's staying right now, too.
I guess.
Yeah, but that's insane. Parents take care of the kids, and the kids have a bunch of stuff they need. Every day has to be about me and my brothers. If we go out to eat, will everyone like the stuff there, or will Jorge be too picky? Or are we old enough to do what the other thing is? Or is Nicholas too little? My birthday is the only time I can do everything that I want for the whole time, and I still choose to keep my bros in mind, even though my parents don't make me.
It's okay.
I don't mind, but it's crazy imagining a world where I don't have to do that. I haven't thought about that. Sometimes I start back and forth, and he bit the inside of his cheek. I guess having siblings or not changes how someone thinks. I think people would always be who they are, no matter what, but maybe I would have needed to be at least a little different if I had to share my parents and life all the time. Got both view who you are. I can relate to that, Derek. I wonder who I'd be without Elizabeth. I don't even want to imagine a world without Elizabeth. You quietly considered the topic. I don't even want to imagine a world without Elizabeth. Same for me and my bros.
But
The road was clear, so Derek got the conversation and his legs moving again. Start preparations by listing off what you need together when you made it back. Sugar, ideally some ice, and some cold water. A pitcher or something like that. Do you have one of those lemon squeezers? We can do it by hand if we gotta. But every object Derek presided, Cove noted along plainly, but he was watching something off in the distance. His faraway thoughts made Derek's words reach him less and less until Derek noticed the lack of reaction. Called to Cove more loudly to catch his attention. Are you okay, dude?
Oh,
Cove blinked as his brain snapped back into place on the side of his head. It's nothing. What were we talking about? Derek spun his lemon bag into a mini tornado by twisting it around tight from the bottom, then releasing a snicker.
No worries.
No worries. I was just making plans for making the lemonade. Okay. The rest of the trip passed by comfortably. Derek carried the conversation. Cove really paid attention from then on. Once he arrived in the neighborhood and reached Cove's front door, the resident of the building opened it up without needing a key. It was already unlocked. Derek gasped but seeked such a lack of security. Cove, however, was so relaxed that he just yawned while going inside. That unknowingly cut off Derek's chance to question Cove about his choice not to lock the door. He simply followed his friend inside, and you did as well. I have an adorable cat. No one can tell me otherwise. Yeah. You're the most adorablest thing ever, yeah. Could y'all imagine? Could y'all imagine if I actually had enough money to get 2 cats that day? Instead of just one, I'd have 2 cats. 2 adorable cats. Yeah. Yeah. Because I'd have you, and I'd have the one that looked like Toothless, too. And I'd be perfect. No, you still wouldn't be able to have Peach's Crow. Yeah. I'm ready for bed. I feel like maybe I need to stream this early on so I can get more of it done. But here's the thing, I'm not also in a rush to get it done. Mostly because the next game isn't coming out until next year. And it's an easy game to get done and over. And the next game doesn't even have anything to do with this one. Cove leisurely crossed his living room to drop his bag of water balloons on the coffee table for later. He left 2 little umbrellas there alongside it.
I'm on it.
Alright. Derek went straight into the kitchen. He had his lemon bag over his shoulder like a gym pack. Peaches, what have you pressed? Who's my baby? Who's my baby? Who's my baby? He's adorable. Yeah. Derek went straight to the kitchen. He had his little bag over his shoulder like a jetpack and flipped it over to sit it beside the sink. He slipped his thumbs through the holes of the mesh and tore it. Where's your coriander? Phil paused, looking incredulously at the wall. Then he turned, directed his confusion across the counter towards the source of it.
what?
My what? On the stairs, Derek was quick to offer a rephrase. A strainer? In the lower cabinet. The one on the left. Derek pressed his hands into the marble and leaned forward with a grin. Thanks, Cove.
Thanks.
Never heard a strainer be called a coriander. I can speak, I swear to God. I can't believe you didn't know what a coriander is. You learn something new every day, huh, Cove? Oh yeah, I totally know what Dirk was talking about. He watched the two boys in amusement. Can you read, Crow? Did you like the other picture I sent you of Peaches? It's adorable, right? You watched the two boys in amusement. Did you ever finish that game? That, the one with all the plants. I have it too. uh, the strange game, that, strange Hator? I can't say that. I didn't. I haven't. I'll admit, I got partway through and then I just, I stopped playing it because I got distracted. But I'm gonna play the next one come out. Then the spiky-haired chef ducked down and disappeared from your sight. If you could call someone who made lemonade a chef, that is. When he popped back into view, framed by the back wall, in the support beams at the front of the kitchen, Derek was holding a silver strainer. He popped it into the sink and it sharply clunked against the metal basin. Derek took the bag he set nearby and dumped every single lemon into the waiting container. He turned the faucet so he could clean the cherry fruits. The sound of running water added an extra layer of the relaxation to the atmosphere. Go stop dawdling and join the already hard at work Dirk in the kitchen.
Boop.
Thank you for the boop voice. He grabbed a cutting board and a large knife from an upper drawer. It was his house, and he'd worked. It was his house, and he worstly claimed responsibility for the riskiest part of making the lemonade. Cove also directed you towards the sugar and a few other things. As it turned out, Mr. Holmes didn't have an actual lemon squeezer, so you're going to be doing this by hand. He did have a perfectly crystal clear glass pitcher that would be perfect for lemonade. The body that was completely a round shape, a ball shape. It had a narrow edge that pulled to the top with one side pinched into a spout. As far as he could tell, it's never been used.
Hey.
Have you made lemonade before, Beanie Cove? Derek casually questioned both of you while he hefted the so-called coriander up and down to shake off some of the water clinging to the freshly washed lemons. Make it all time. I have, but only summer. I've done it a few times. Maybe. I don't remember. Nope. Never. I've done it a few times. Me and Cove made it together before. What with you, Cove? We've had to have done it. Cove scratched at the back of his head, bashfully, and chuckled. There was a pretty small amount of things he hadn't done together over the years, being across the street from each other. Yeah, cool. Derek hummed while placing lemons on a clean kitchen towel. He took a fruit from the coriander with his left hand, passed it over to his right, and placed that down while grabbing a new one.
It's all good.
I made it before too. First lemonade is so good. I'm excited for this. So am I. Your tools were all prepared now, so the team shifted into the actual creation of the traditional summer drink. Cove would cut the lemons into chunks. Derek gave Cove a tip to roll the lemons against the board before slicing them to get the juices going. You and Derek work hard together to squish the fruits. You squeeze the lemon parts over the pitcher itself with a smaller strainer bounced over the mouth of it to catch the seeds. Piece by piece, you crush the thick peel into itself to pop the little snacks of fruits in the fruit. The little sacks of juice in the fruit. The tips of your fingers begin to wrinkle after a while. But slowly a murky liquid pooled at the bottom of the glass container. When enough fruits were chopped, Cove joined in the juicing effort. The three of you huddled around the counter together. You leaned over the one pitcher and strained to get everything you could out of the little yellow menaces while not accidentally squirting acid into anyone's eyes. The precarious situation aside, Cove continued the conversation with a question of his own. Derek, you made lemonade, but did you ever do the whole lemonade stand thing where you try to sell it to random people who pass by? Oh yeah, it was a mess, and I think we only sold like 2 cups. Nicholas kept drinking our supply, and Horace's effort to stop him spilled even more of it.
Oh man.
Plus, the kids fighting over the lemonade jar probably scared people away from the stall. But it's not like I was expecting that to be some kind of success. It was for Nico and Jorge to have fun. They did, mostly. As usual, tales of Derek's endeavors of a big brother got Cove to chuckle. You're also smiling, even though your fingers had started to cramp after so much lemon compacting. Nico and Elizabeth did that too. I never got to do that. It's not fair. I didn't ever try. I could never talk to strangers like that. Well, Lizzie took it very seriously. She shot at every person who passed by, though there weren't many of those. You've seen our neighborhood. Almost no one comes here, and our moms wouldn't let us go all the way to the main street to set it up.
I gotcha.
Oh yeah, that's a problem. It wasn't all bad. We did have high success rate with the poor people who crossed our path. They would chase them down if they tried to pretend they didn't see her. But too bad for them. The lemonade we made was horrible. That was a really nice drink out of the annoyance, though. No idea if anyone really liked the drink, but at least they said it was good. They got a good drink out of the annoyance. Cove chimed in to add his contribution to the cause.
Yeah.
I barely did anything the whole time because I didn't want to talk to the people. I didn't have to think. Still, Elizabeth, and I did get all the lemonade I could drink. Derek was the one laughing then. He squeezed the other chunk with a wink.
Cool.
That's impressive. It's hard market up there.
Man.
But man, all this business talk makes me think about how I only met either of you because my dad partnered with Close Dad's business. If that hadn't happened, you probably wouldn't have ever learned I existed. You still know each other, obviously. Derek squeezed his self-lemon chunk with a fittingly sour expression on his face. He accidentally made himself feel like a third wheel. In a cluster of human juicers, Derek was in the middle. Yet he began to fade despite being right next to you. You and Cove looked at one another from over Derek's lowered head. Cove pushed himself to smile through his concern while also giving Derek's arm a little nudge with his elbow. I worry about that kind of thing sometimes too. If my dad hadn't picked this street to move to, I wouldn't have met Beanie. That reverie he must have begun to disintegrate after putting the truth in front of his mind. He swallowed bitterly. I don't like it when I start thinking about
It's
that,
okay.
but my dad still would have had his business, so I still would have met you. Sheepishly, Derek pressed his shoulders up around his face. He managed to smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough for all of us. Where your parents live and what your parents do has to matter so much to everything. Derek bit his lip, unwilling to let himself continue to speak negatively. But, like a turtle coming out of his shell, Derek lifted himself off the counter and rejoined you and Cove at his regular eye level. You could have laid on your bed. Would that have been so hard to do? She closed her eyes again. She's trying to ignore me. We didn't meet each other and we're friends, and that's what counts. Exactly. What else don't make a difference because we're really all here. We get met another way somehow. That's 3 of us who worry over those things. I'm glad we got to meet. Soon we'll be old enough to decide everything for ourselves. You smiled at the two encouragingly. I'm glad we got to meet. So am I. Cove quietly watched over his friend, soothed out his uplifted mood, then his lips parted as a pleasant thought came to mind. Hey, this is where I was standing when I first met you.
Right?
Oh yeah. Derek bounced up on his toes, tossed the lemon piece he had been working on over into the trash can. It landed perfectly inside. But I was on the other side of the counter back then, and now I'm here in the kitchen with you. That caught your ear, and you lifted one of your brows. Remember the night Cove told you met a new kid named Derek, but you didn't say much about it. All you really knew was that their parents had started working together, and then Derek began to come around the neighborhood for visits. Hi. 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 How are you feeling, boys? Are you feeling better? I'm seeing if I can get Peaches to move. Oh. I got her attention. When you can get your cat's attention by using a water bottle lid. And make her jump off the table. Stop it, Crow. Ah. You and that thing. Peaches doesn't react to it. That's the funny thing. Peaches doesn't give two damns when I do that. Peaches. She looks at me when I call her. My cats don't either. Don't care either. It's just you. That's why it's funny. Fuck you. You can't see the middle finger I'm holding up, but I'm holding it up. I'm holding my middle finger up at Crow. Peach is a stream mascot. She really is at this point. He's a little PNG. No, I don't mind making her a PNG. I can make her one where it looks like she's laying down in front of me. What about that? A little curled up Peaches? Oh. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. Also, voice, how are you feeling? Don't think I forgot to ask. Rachel invited my dad over for a meal at his house after the partnership was official. He talked about Code before when him and my dad were getting to know each other. You can't get away from hearing about Mr. Holden's top-notch son if you spend any time with him. I'm feeling better. Lay down and take some meds. That's good. Glad you're feeling better.
So
that's just like that I come to, since we're the same age. Mr. Holden was apparently really into the idea. I had no idea what to expect from something like that, but I wanted to go to a sort of business dinner with my dad. Felt pretty cool to be invited, and then I went. Whatever I was imagining before I got there, Mr. Holden definitely wasn't it. I thought my dad was a casual for a professional business person, but Cove's dad takes the cake. Warmth came to Cove's expression, not the red hot heat of flush from before, but a gentleness that was based in his honest love for his parent. A lot of people don't expect Dad to be how he is. What'd you think of about me when you first met me, you know? Jack mercilessly scratched his damp hand against the back of his head. A stray lemon seed clung to one of the spikes of his hair. You didn't want to cut the two off, so the little bit went unmentioned.
no way.
Honestly, when I spotted you in the back of the kitchen, I thought Mr. Wooden had another older kid he was hiding because there's no way that guy was 13. You were so tall and fit, and you just stared at people. You seemed like a tough upper grade teen who never talked to somebody like me. You snickered under your breath. You didn't know any better. You think he was describing Elizabeth. Having that description be assigned to Cove, Holden of all people, was hilarious. Cove was equally startled by Derek's choice of words. His eyes opened wide in amazement. Oh. You thought I was... Yeah, I did, but thought is definitely the right word for that. That instantaneously put Cove into a pouty mood. He pressed both his palms against the marble countertop, not bothering to squeeze another lemon. Cove didn't want to play anymore. Derek leaned his shoulder against Cove's side affectionately. He reached past him. The lemon slice Cove wasn't using and started to juice it himself.
Sorry.
Sorry, there's nothing wrong with being a softie. I like that about you. Bring Derek's statement to life, Cove visibly relaxed his stance. The tone of his voice was equally delicate. Guess it's not bad. Cove was honestly kidding himself if he thought he was anything other than a sensitive sweetheart, just like Derek. That was something he treasured about him. It's great, Cove. Cove took a new piece of fruit and rejoined the lemon-making efforts. Derek benched the knife shut from the tension of crushing a chunk in his fist. He hesitantly continued the topic. So about me, when you first met me, what kind of impression did you get? With much less force, Cove used both his hands to work on his single lemon. He answered the question while staring off into space. That was likely the same expression Derek had seen the moment they'd met. The face he'd read as intimidating rather than easily distracted. I thought he probably liked sports. A pair of you shook from laughter, bumping against each other with your closeness, like a bunch of grapes on a vine rustling in the wind.
I get it.
Okay, Beanie, your turn. What'd you think about me when we met? Oh. Mine drifted back to a few months ago, before summer vacation had begun. You stepped out of your house late in the evening, and Cove was sitting on the curb with someone else. Someone you'd never seen in your life, not even in passing at school. Green-eyed boy with a football jersey who was joking around lightheartedly with your longtime neighbor. You'd guessed immediately that he was the Derek kid from the Holden's new business relationship. That or Cove had learned a magic spell to summon a new friend out of nowhere. He had stood there staring for only a second, but the newcomer noticed your presence quickly. He jumped right to his feet, jogged across the street, and stuck out his hand for you to shake. With the wide grin that you were so familiar with now, he introduced himself to you for the first time as Derek. I thought you were so nice. I thought you were younger than Cove. I thought you were the brightest teenager I'd ever met. I too thought this guy liked sports. I thought you were cute. I didn't know what to think. Okay. I needed a drink. Everyone muted because they're in repo. I'm not gonna lie, I have saved money up again to get a chair. Because, as everyone knows, I had places I had to go, so I saved money up for those. And what I was going to use left over was going to be for a chair. And then I got told I was doing something else, so... You're invested in the story now. I'd say I almost have enough. Actually, I might have enough. Transfer. Oh, yeah, I'm off. We'll do a chairathon? Maybe. All I know is that I miss having a chair that spins, you know? And I know Peaches wants her ottoman back so that I would stop, telling her no when she tries to, claw it. I thought you were cute.
Really?
Really? Thanks. Are you gonna tell me what you thought of me when we met? Derek's gaze shifted from the picture in front of him to Solo, and Ian said there was a focus in his eyes. Made you hold your breath from anticipation. I think... My god. No. But I could. Um... Know what? How's this? I think... So next Friday, me and Reese are doing a 24-hour stream. I know me and Reese are going to do a lot of the duo games that we have. I could set up like... I'd say maybe set up like a 12-hour like drawing stream, but I don't think I could draw for like 12 hours. I'd go insane trying to do that. But I wouldn't mind the 12 hours we just try and get money for my chair. I think I only need like what? If I did the math, it's like what? Like... I need to actually look at it. To which, guess what, Crow? My name on Fortnite is too long to have TTV in it. It's saddening. Excuse me a moment while I just go to Amazon. Your Dave is not pronounceable. Give me one moment while I actually do this. Because I can buy it. I have a actual, discount, Not my mom completely overriding everything. What is that? Who the fuck put that in the cart? No, no, it's Kenzie. It has to be Kenzie. Hands down, that's Kenzie. Kenzie, 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 Kenzie. And yes, I'm just scrolling down the list of items that's in the cart for save for later, and it's all Kenzie. Beanie has a list. So I were to buy it, hands down, it's on sale right now. Holy shit, hold on. I think oh, see, that's the irritating part. The one with the wheels, they have in beige and gray, but not blue. And they don't have it in green either, which is saddening. Peaches. You are getting wheels and stuff. Peaches, stop! Oh my god. She just stepped on everything and made everything go off my screen. I do have the wheels one. Also, whoever thinks about getting a chair that is leather, what is wrong with you? Because let me tell you, when I was first looking at it, it offered the option of leather. And I was like, who would want that? My mom's like, that's just no. And she looked at me, she goes, you're not getting that now, are you? The leather one? I was like, why would I do that? I would stick to it. It's saddening. So they don't have the blue one. How much is everything in the cart right now? It's not bad. I don't have that. It is. So the one I got is fabric. Let me just state that it's all of it's fabric. But it offered leather, and I said whoever got that is weird. To my mom. I'm not getting it. I'd stick to it. Oh, hey! Guess what? Guess when it be delivered? If I order it right now, guess what? Guess when it be delivered? Take a wild guess. Crow, that's insane. Voice, you have too much hope. It'd be exactly a week and 3 days from now. Crow. 55 weeks. Well, I mean, I was already doing it, so I think I'd just be happy to have a chair with more cushion than the ottoman at this point, you know? What are you looking at? I'm not gonna lie, I want to get something for Peaches to, like, be able to, like, step out into the backyard. You know? You want to play with the foil? You want to play with the foil? Go play with the foil. I thought you were cute too. You'd hoped you'd be able to inhale again after he spoke. That only made it worse. You struggled to get any oxygen in. I've been sitting kind of good, I think. Thank you for telling me. I'm glad you didn't think I slept. Okay. We're a couple of cuties. You smirked. You began to blush. We're a couple of cuties. Definitely. By the way, you have a lemon seed in your hair, and then you kept busy by finding another lemon to squeeze. Lemon seed in your hair. Oh. Derek reached his hand through his light brown strands blindly. Unfortunately, he focused on top and sides, so he never hit the right spot. One of your hands covered the laughter coming out of your mouth, and you used the other to point out the target on the back of his head. Finally, he was able to brush the seed onto the floor. He bent down to pick it up and drop it to the side on the counter. Oh god, my eye. Did you just coo at me? You cooing? You cooing? Yeah. She's looking everywhere I'm touching her, by the way. Could I talk you into playing with me in a bit? As soon as this thing is done. I could steal you for Schedule 1 instead. How's that? I win! Schedule 1, let's go! Oh, shit! Thanks, Beanie. You're welcome. We could add a little of the lemon zest too. I'll do that. Derek fumbled to move the topic to something else. His darkening cheeks were probably the reason why. I think I'm just gonna do one of these a week at this point. So I seem to be getting sleepy halfway through these. Which is fine by me. Can we also say that I have like over 309k hours in this? Wait, no, sorry. Just 309 hours. I was looking at a different game. My god. I'm smart. I know which game I'm reading. I just saw that message, Crow. Do you have a grater or a peeler? Yeah. Cove gestured to the same drawer the knife had come from. The one that said beep. That came like an hour ago. Dug through it until he successfully retrieved a multi-textured grater. Are you good? What? Can I help you? Something wrong? What? What is it? What? What? Mm. No. Stay. She's crossing her freaking arms like a little lady. She's set off. Rude. He took himself to the opposite side of the kitchen to get the way it worked with his back to you, Cove. Cove tilted his head thoughtfully. He was inspired by Derek's work ethic. If it's gonna be fancy lemonade with us, we can do that thing where you put whole slices in two. I can cut a few of the leftover lemons.
Cool.
Cool, Beanie. Can you pour the water and sugar in the pitcher so it start to dissolve? Yep. You start by filling up the sparkly jug with chilled filtered water from the fridge. And you remember to put ice in the drink too. The diluted lemon juice sloshed around and threatened to spill over as you piled in the ice. That's some space for Cove's lemon slices. Finally, you took hold of the hefty bag of white sugar and pulled it close to the counter's edge. Dry grains of sugar that coated the bag came to stick against your still damp fingers instead. Felt like you were building a sandcastle at the beach. What are you doing? I swear to God. What did you see? Go in there. She saw something going somewhere. I swear to God, you jump from there, I'm gonna be upset with you. You had just one pinch, half cup of sugar. You had a full cup of sugar. You had 2 cups of sugars. You just poured sugar in until it piled at the bottom of the glass. I think a full cup of sugar is the right amount, isn't it? Is it full or half cup? I'm gonna go full cup. You search around the kitchen till you find a colorful ceramic mixing spoon. You dunk it into the pitcher and carefully stir. A quiet smell grew on your face as you watched the bits of sugar swirled around in a pale yellow drink. At this point, the separate ingredients had truly come together to become lemonade. Round and round you turned the spoon. It was almost hypnotic, the way the... I just said no to doing that, did I not, young lady? It was almost hypnotic, the way the juice swirled inside the pitcher. Your trance was broken by a sharp hiss at your side. You dropped the spoon, losing in the depths of lemonade, and snapped your head towards Cove. He was holding his left hand up to his face. A thick bubble of dark red had slipped down from one of his fingers and left a streak over his palm.
Huh.
Peaches! What are you doing? Oh, ouch. You okay? That's not great. Where do you keep the bandages? From the side of the wound of his wound. Derek, Cove was hurt. He completely froze. That's not great. Where do you keep your bandages? Cove plainly shrugged. It's nothing. Not even thinking about it, Cove reached his hand down to wipe the mess on his pants. Luckily for his trousers, Derek flipped around at the commotion. His tense, worried face took in the scene, and a disbelieving shout startled Cove into freezing. Don't do that! Cove stared incredulously from the corner of his eyes with an arm awkwardly sticking out from his side. His sentence paused in a strange position remind you of the red light. green light game you'd play at your elementary school, except there is no green and only red in Cove's version. I'm fine. No way. Seriously, Cove, you have to take care of that. Derek stretched his arm high to grasp the taller teen by the shoulders. He said backwards, getting Cove to move with him. We're gonna clean that off for real. Cove muttered and inverted fine as he stumbled along with Derek, who was reversing out of the kitchen. Minnie, do you mind cleaning up the cutting board? Nope, I'll take care of it. He gathered a knife onto the cutting board and brought it over to the trash. The lemon slices couldn't be used in a drink after that. He used the knife to scrape them off and into the bag. Then he got to rinsing the board and knife in the sink with soap and hot water. He switched between staring down the sides and checking over the counter for the boys. You were careful not to accidentally get a cut of your own, but it was hard not to wonder what was going down the hall. By the time he finished washing up, Cove and Derek re-emerged in the living room. An unseen brown bandage was wrapped around the cut on Cove's finger.
It's okay.
It's okay, it wasn't deep. We washed it off, got it clean, put a bandage on it, good as new. Peaches found herself a box to put herself in. My cat, everyone. Derek marched with confidence right back into the kitchen. Cove hesitated in the living room. He waved apologetically.
Hey.
Hey, you really okay? I definitely am. I just nicked myself when a lemon slipped. The juice stinging me was way worse than the cut itself. Peaches? I swear, stop. You're gonna fall out. Oh my god. I think my cat is insane. That's really thanks for helping, Derek. Thank you too. It's cleaner in here. He held his hand up to you for a high five. It had been washed clean in the lemon juice that coated it before. He slapped his hand and gave a nod instead. You swung your palm forward and clapped Derek back. He pumped his arm enthusiastically as a follow-up. I mean, you are, so it makes sense. Hey! Not true. Peaches. You better go around. You're not jumping from over there. Yes, you are. Yes, you are wrong. Thank you, Peaches. Cove walked over to join the two of you, smiling ruefully. Thanks for caring. Always, man. Now what? Well, took his time to look between you and Cove as he puzzled out the next step, and then he beamed. Let's try lemonade. It doesn't need the slices or the zest. Derek gave an exaggerated wave across the front of his chest. Blowing the whole thing off, Cove eagerly supported the sentiment. He was more than ready to put the prior incident behind him.
You're right.
Yeah, lemonade doesn't need to be fancy. It's lemonade. Look at the lemonade that we made. Derek nodded twice as he strained to lift the nearly full pitcher. He had to balance on his tiptoes to pour the juice into the set of 3 glasses that had been put out earlier. Derek noticed there was a spoon clattering around in there. He pretended that he didn't. Thank you. I'm good. Okay, then. You took a glass for a taste. You passed the lemonade. Thank you. At the same time, Cove and Derek tipped their cups and took full gulps of the drinks. They savored the taste, and he watched as their reactions formed. Cove smiled contentedly, while Derek cheered with enthusiasm. It's good. Derek gave a thumbs up to
Good
that.
job,
It's a
team.
perfect cup of lemonade. Good work, team. He gladly joined them, taking a sip, enjoying every drop of your hard work. It was absolutely refreshing. Cove chugged the rest of his drinks, then placed the empty cup down firmly. His enthusiasm was continuing to rise. Let's fill the water balloons. Slowly, cautiously, Derek questioned Cove's plan. He didn't want to ruin things, but expressing concern was more important.
Are you sure?
Will you really be alright in a water balloon fight with your finger and stuff? Cove remained relaxed in the face of Derek's worry. He wasn't going to bring the mood down at the commotion he caused earlier, responding to the injury by slickly pulling out the big gun. Your neighbor smirked as he held his left arm over his chest, showing the full length of the jagged, pale scar that marked him. I've had worse. Derek's eyes widened and his mouth was struck hanging open. Derek could only imagine what Cove had gone through to get an injury with such a lasting impact. But if Cold Holden said he could manage a cut, he could manage that cut.
Whoa.
Well, you know, you're pretty tough after all. The compliment had Cove beaming. He caressed his trusty scar and giggled childishly. Yeah, you make a good point. Alright, let's do it. Nothing else needed to be said. The 3 of you busted open the baggie of water balloons, pushed the tools of your lemonade production aside, got to work on another summer group project. You stretched the open end of the water balloon over the faucet. The plastic fit snugly around the silver spout. You still kept your hands on it to make certain the balloon didn't pop off and shoot a stream into your face like a busted water fountain. Derek flipped the handle up for you, and the first saggy balloon rapidly expanded. Out of the bag, the balloon was a dark emerald color, but in only a few seconds, the bloated sack of water had stretched so thin the grain had become almost translucent. It was as pale as Cove's hair. Before it was pushed beyond its limit, Derek turned the faucet off again. He carefully punched the string top of your perfectly plump toy and then harvested off the silver vine. Cove reached out for it as he intended to tie the balloons while you and Derek continued feeling. Derek looked between the balloon and Cove's hand and called a timeout. He had been a little overeager to involve and realized in the moment that their team arrangement was the most fair. He requested to switch positions with Cove. Cove rolled his eyes but couldn't argue. His bandage could easily be yanked right off by the top loops of the plastic that formed around the figures while tying them. Your optimized party got back into action. You were hooking balloons into the place. Cove handling water disputation. I'm not. I'm trying to say a word now, and I can't say it for the life of me. Yeah. I can't. I started giggling, and then I just couldn't say it at all. And it just made me giggle, and I just... Thank you for the work, Mad Dog. Okay. I think that's fair. I did kind of steal him away. Yeah. This is indeed true. Freeding is reading Beanie Dumpstat is Intel, isn't it? It's okay, mine is. I had a cute cat. Okay. Derek sealing the deal with a nod. Soon you had a couple dozen shiny water balloons overflowing in the sink basin. Cove pushed off from the counter silently. He disappeared from the kitchen, left you and Derek wondering. He went down the hall into his bedroom. He was only gone for a moment before stepping back into the hall with a pure white, whole speckled laundry basket. The point of that was obvious, but his choice of bin did get a ribbing from Derek. Did you dump your clothes on the floor for that? Yeah, they're already dirty. Oh. Derek blinked. He hadn't expected that to be true, or for Cove to be so straightforward about it. You snickered at the exchange, still casually leaning against the sink. When Cove dropped the very newly empty laundry basket on the tile, you cradled a few water balloons in your arms and placed them aside. Cove and Derek joined in with the transfer. Eventually, every water balloon had safely made it into the basket. Nice work. Derek and Cove each took one side lifted, while you helped steer by grabbing the back end. Moving as one, the three of you shuffled out of the kitchen and through the living room to take your treasure chest of jiggly jewels into the neighborhood. The door was open, the drop from the curb to the street was overcome, and you successfully placed the laundry basket in the center of the empty road. Your poor lemonade stall might have suffered from the lack of traffic, but that was the perfect for your current activity. No civilians were likely to get caught in the crossfire of the coming battle. Well, we're here. We are here. Derek slowly curled and uncurled his fists. Cove didn't take his eyes off you or Derek. No one made a move for the pile. You held your breath from the growing tension. You broke the pause and grabbed a weapon. Let's grab a weapon. Cove lashed out like a snake at your move and got his hand around a water balloon of his own before you could do anything with yours. But Derek wasn't going to be left behind either. He stuck both his hands deep into the mass and came up with 2 water balloons. In quick succession, Derek launched one shot at you and the other at Cove. Ah! You felt the impaled of a solid object slamming against your chest before it burst into a million pieces, and a shock of cold water seeped into the front of your dress. Cove's lips sputtering, and with a dark stain at the lower edge of his top, he shook the hit off and chuckled a balloon. He chucked a balloon directly at Derek in return. It exploded against his right shoulder. No one was dry anymore, and no one was safe. The war was on. You threw yours at Derek. You threw yours at Cove. You ran to put distance between you and them. You threw yours at Derek. It landed true and added a second dripping blotch on Derek's favorite jersey. We're even, Derek.
It's on.
Yeah, not for long. The 3 of you elbowed against the others, sticking to the pile and restocked your supplies. Politely taking turns was out of the questions. The water balloon fight was in full force. Derek sprinted up and down the street, making himself into a moving target. He'd only make a mad dash for the center area when he ran out of balloons. Cove had no fear, being an easy mark and stayed right by the laundry basket, lobbing strike after strike at you and Derek. You hid in your home's doorway and took shots from cover. You chased after Derek, competed with Cove for control over the pile. The walls of your family household proved to be a perfect line of defense. You barely had a chance to get a balloon and throw it, but the boys almost never got a clear shot at you. Laughter and water splashes filled the normally quiet sunset-burned neighborhood. You're convinced the mean grandparents would jump out and shout about the noise. Luckily, no one interrupted your revelry. And even if someone had, they would have been putting their dryness at risk by confronting your group. Rapidly, the amount of balloons dwindled until each person only had one left in hand, and the laundry basket had nothing except a little puddle at the bottom with scraps of rubber scattered in it. Arms were held high in the air, taking aim. Eyes shifted from one option to the other. Derek ran his hand further back in Cove, and you couldn't take your eyes off him. Your teeth gritted as you tried desperately to calculate where the balloon would fly. Would it be Cove or you? However, Derek chose neither. He launched it straight up in the air. It reached an impressive height. You could barely see the speck of yellow against the vast blue sky, until it immediately sailed down and smacked against the tarmac. Derek broke into more snickers the exact moment the balloon broke into 1,000 drips of water. He wasn't the only one amused by the stunt. Cove smiled bent, and he opened his fingers and let the balloon drop harmlessly to the ground. Cove didn't pick it back up. Instead, he brutally brought his foot against his own weapon and decimated it under the heel. A drop of juice had been formed between the two. Threw yours in the air too. You stepped on the balloon too. You broke it against your own head. You threw it at Derek. You threw it at Cove. You broke it against your own head. If no one was throwing balloons at each other anymore, that didn't mean you had to waste a shot. So you blew it at the center of your head and pressed unforgivingly until it popped. Derek and Cove explained in amazement. It was like you'd done that party trick where you crashed a soda can against your head, or as if you were Derek, crushing a piece of pie into his own face to entertain his brothers. That was how the greatest battle your neighborhood had likely ever seen come to an end. You're all dripping wet and out of breath and couldn't be happier. Derek rubbed his hands together in satisfaction before crouching to the ground to start collecting tiny bits of water balloon debris. Cove strolled around to gather the confetti like trash on his own accord as well. There didn't have to be a discussion. Derek and Cove had the quality in common, a distaste for litter. He appreciated that about both of them and joined in to help pick up the pieces off the ground. You quietly wandered around, filling your fist with the rubbery remains as the sun crept behind the condo's roof. Your shadows grew longer in the waning light. You felt the damp cleaning of your clothes more acutely as the excitement died down. Your team managed to finish cleaning before night had completely fallen. All the trash was dumped into a tall green trash can at the side of Cove's house. With all that remained of the carnage being a few drying watermarks spotted the street, your group had returned to the state you'd originally started in. Druglessness, relaxation. Cove had been perfectly willing to return to his house while still wet, scrounge up fresh glasses of lemonade. Plus, he had your little umbrellas tucked under his arm. It was a struggle to balance it all. But Cove took one for the team as someone who actually lived there. He and Dirk didn't have to go in and make a mess of the whole home, though you imagine Cove's dad wouldn't have cared. He passed a drink to you and one to Derek, then used his free hand to flip the laundry basket over. It was less flimsy than it looked because Cove sat on it and didn't buckle at all. Derek politely passed on the seat Cove provided. He remained standing while shifting his weight from one foot to the other. Sat on the ground and sat on the basket of Cove. He stood near Derek. Sat on the ground. If you cared about keeping your clothes pristine, you wouldn't have gone into a water balloon fight. Bit of Derek couldn't hurt. Cove quietly took a sip of his lemonade. Derek circled the top of his glass with the tip of one finger, watching Cove.
Are you alright?
How's your hand? Cove savored another taste of his drink, let out a fresh sigh, and then answered,
It's okay.
It's still falling. Cool. The ritual checking on him was complete, and Derek could only chuckle bashfully over his habit. Cove smiled over the rim of his cup. There was comfort in knowing Derek would always care. Before enjoying the rest of the lemonade, Cove remembered to anoint his cup with one of the many tropical umbrellas. Derek and you both got your own from the box. You had to have pretty fancy lemonade after all. The air was warm enough to be comfortable even with your wet clothes. Lemonade, little umbrellas, and good company. That was what days like these were for. It couldn't get much better. Cove agreed contentedly, without you even having to say so. Summer really is the best
Same.
season. I think so too. Me three, I was just thinking about that. It's okay, I guess. Summer is the worst of them all. It's only the best because school's vacation. Because school vacation, it wins by default. I was just thinking about that. Great minds think alike. A gentle expression rested on Derek's face as he spoke softly. It'd be nice if things could be like this all the time, huh? Then Derek closed his glasses, spoke in mock outrage to the world at large. Why can't it always be summer break? Despite it being an obvious joke, Derek's words struck a chord with Cove. His chill hardened into seriousness. He donned a second glass of lemonade, hopped onto his feet. I'm going to go check something. You should come, both of you. He considered that as sufficient offer because Cove simply walked back to the front of his house and left the empty glass at the side of the door. Derek's gaze followed his friend and lifted one brow. What are we going to see? You'll see when we get there. You're probably going to try to talk me out of it, so you don't need to know now.
What?
What? He almost dropped his cup. Derek twisted his head to track Cove's moves with his saucer white eyes. Beanie's gonna get it? Oh yeah, I'll take that bet.
Come on.
Still completely confident, Cove strode up the road. Derek gulped, but not the lemonade. He pointed a panicked glance at you. We should go. Put yourself off your seat and stood by Derek. All right. Derek took his open hand through the side hand of the laundry basket. He jogged on his tiptoes over to Cove's condo. The bin dumped along against the street behind him. He looked in front of him and left it there in the entry. He placed his half-empty lemonades by Cove. You were right behind him. Dropped the little umbrellas into the laundry basket and completed the set of glasses by replacing yours next to theirs. Let's go. Another light jog, he caught up to Cove. He was going at a leisurely pace and smirked when he saw the two of you in the corner of his vision. Hey, hi. Together, you, Cove, and Derek left your neighborhood and returned to the main sidewalk that you took to reach the grocery store hours earlier. An exchange of glances between you and Derek was the only interaction you had during the walk. Cove kept his sun-kissed face forward and his mouth shut. Shopping wasn't in your neighbor's mind because that building was passed without acknowledgement. It was taking you further down the path. Only about a minute later, you progress was halted by a road of strikingly orange traffic cones, strings of droopy "Do Not Cross" banners. We go around? No, we're here. Huh? Derek saw Cove, however, got onto his knees in front of the blocked-off area. His eyes were glinting with intention. I saw this when we were leaving, but people were working on it. The concrete is still wet, and there's no one around now. Yet again, Cove had knocked a gasp out of Derek. You're not gonna mess it up, right? Cove didn't have to say anything to answer. She had a coy smile, and that was enough.
Oh, man.
Oh, Cove, this is really bad. The grin on Derek's face trembled, both from laughter threatening to spill over and fear of getting in trouble. No, it's perfect. Why am I not surprised? Cove, you can't. Yep, it makes sense why you didn't say this before. You shook your head and sighed. You stared around nervously in case anyone caught you. Why am I not surprised? 'Cause you know me? Cove fiercely stuck his finger into the muddy, gray concrete. He slowly etched out a series of numbers. When he was done, the corner of the block had 2011 scribbled into it for all to see. He surveyed his work with pride while wiping his dirty finger on the side of his pant leg. You wrote your initials, you wrote all three of your initials, you had a summer above Cove's 2011. You drew a heart, you drew a smiley face, you chuckled. You had a summer above Cove's 2011. That made more sense to you than just having it be the year.
It's nice.
That's nice. Derek stared hard at the soft, forbidden canvas
It's nice.
and slowly crouched down. He paused, but his lip then ultimately pressed his finger into the tacky surface to leave a small print. He left a sign of his presence there on that day, right along with Cove and year. Relief came to Derek's features once he finished. Hopefully addressed before anyone finds out. Yeah, the single word was only a whisper, but it was warm and pure. Thanks for taking us, Cove. You're welcome. Cove dusted his pants off as he stood after a job well done. Derek shut up as well. Newly invigorated, he looked to the sky and squinted at the sun. The day was coming to an end, but no one could say your group had wasted it. That was true for the entire summer. No matter what happened when school started again, when an unknown future arrived, you still have all the memories you made together when you had the chance and the things you left behind. Ba-bum. So, which one should we start next time? We have 1 through 15. 2 3, 4, 7, 10, 12, and 13 are all done. So that's pretty much it. Dizian? Crow, are you still here? I have a bone to pick with you. When doubt, I can just message Crow. Okay. And up, waving goodbye. The hell is it? I'm the solar Orion that was up on the wall. I would have lost you then, nothing at all. Alrighty, we're gonna be ending, of course. I can type! I can type. Maybe. But on that note, I shall see you all tomorrow for the drinking stream.